see just how hot and humid it is from the shirt of Mohamed Hamdi. What are we, 17 minutes into the game? Drenched.
It can actually sometimes be a little bit more oppressive once the sun actually goes down, so there's more moisture in the atmosphere. In the heat of the day, you do sweat, but you don't feel as quite as drained too often.
Mohamed El Shenawi in the Egyptian goal. Namesake Ahmed El Shenawi is one of the two substitute goalkeepers.
Pretty lukewarm start. Egypt dominated the ball in the opening 10 or so minutes. Going in the last 5 or 6, started to quite exert control, but certainly see a lot more of the football.
Hamdi Fati, no foul. Jordanay, that is a foul. Just a little touch as the legs tangled. A couple of years younger than his brother, Jordan. Andre Ayew came on against Cape Verde, playing therefore in his 8th edition of the Africa Cup of Nations, a record equaling number of tournaments. If he gets on today, it'll be a record equaling number of games in Africa Cup of Nations tournaments. He has 34. Rigobert Song is the record holder on 35. Expect to see Ayew Senior at some point. Omar Kamal. Mohamed Hamdi into Omar Marmoush. Good little burst into the box from Omar Marmoush. Now the defender got his body across him. The referee's given the free kick to Ghana. Mohamed Salah is not going to take that decision, at least not without having something to say about it. The referee has threatened to book him there.
Yeah,
Salah continuing the debate.
He's lucky to get away with that, a yellow card. I mean, that's most unlike Mo Salah to be so much in the referee's face. That's not a penalty. As well, doesn't he? Abdul Samed, turn his body, don't stick your leg out, there's no need. You've already won ground, if you like.
So Ofori, who plays in South Africa with Orlando Pirates, with the clearance away downfield for Ghana. Not losing is absolutely crucial for Ghana. They'd love to win, but they're in a real spot of bother if they lose.
Yeah, they do have 3 genuine attackers up front. You expect them to do a lot of defensive work, both do for their respective club sides, don't they? Ayew for Crystal Palace and Semenyo for Bournemouth. And Chris Hughton will certainly demand that. He's a guy who really believes in a solid structure from the side, especially when they don't have the ball. Can't detract too much from their attacking talents going forward. They need to be proactive and try and get a goal. They don't need to be desperate about anything, perhaps more urgency if the need arises, or if they feel as if they're getting on top. It's certainly not been the case so far. Not had the early goal, but if you get one before half-time, that will change the whole complexion for both sides. But of course, one will feel as if there is some desperation coming into the second half. Egypt only taking a point from their opening game.
Omar Kamal. Back to Hegazi, one of the veterans of the 2018 World Cup finals.
And always seems to have a head injury as well, Hegazi.
Well, he's wearing the scars of many years as a central defender. Good central defender too. Mustafa Mohamed. Salah. Mensah with him, making the block. The Ghanaian left back is El Neni. Lost on match day 1, Ghana. They haven't lost match day 1 and match day 2 in a African Nations Cup edition since 1984. It would be an enormous amount of pressure on Chris Hughton if that were to happen. It's forward from Abdelmonem. It's a decent ball as well into Mohamed Hamdi. His cross is too deep, really. Well, Mensah might not have got a shout. There wasn't anyone around him. He has put it behind for an Egyptian corner, their first of the game.
Lovely pass out wide, wasn't it? It wasn't a great ball. In truth, Egypt only had a couple of players there to hit. It was hit by some distance.
So Afori on his toes. Salah will take the corner once the referee is happy for play to continue. Kudus here for Ghana. Gave it away rather typically to Enam Ashur.
If you don't get to Mohamed Kudus very quickly as he takes that first touch, he's so elusive, gets away from people, great balance and awareness, able to move either side of the opposing player. Strong legs, just shifts the ball very quickly.
And a goal scorer. He's scored 10 in his first 24 matches since joining West Ham. He scored 4 in just 3 matches for Ajax at the start of this season. So in club football this season, he has 14 goals from midfield, often playing wide actually for West Ham.
Yeah, it's a great return, isn't it? Back end of the season, usually in the Premier League, players who are not quite played at that level domestically sometimes find it difficult, but if chipping in with the goals, that will keep any mental fatigue at bay.
He's El Neni. Now Mohamed Abdelmonem to El Neni. There's a big contingent from Al Ahly in the Egyptian squad. Abdelmonem on the ball here is one of them. Flipped forward by Omar Kamal looking for Salah. Jordan Ayew's got through a couple of challenges there, and Semenyo's given it back to Ayew, who now has a bit of green grass to run into. Maybe not as quick as he once was. Cut out well by Hegazi.
A bit short on pace, the pass inside from Ayew to Semenyo, but Hegazi went to ground and collected the ball all in one movement. Had to wait for the ball to come to him. Able to pick up speed early enough. A bit lukewarm at the moment, isn't it, Steve? In terms of creativity and excitement. Actually nothing for the fans to shout about so far.
Well, the outcome will certainly be significant. Even if it hasn't yet got anybody quite off their seats. The build-up like effort in a big game like this. You experience that in the Nigerian squad in '94, of course. And you know, when you've got a big game, what's the day like when the game kicks off late? It's the last of 3. Do you watch the other games? Do you just try and keep quiet and calm and have a sleep, or what?
You certainly watch, at least one of the games, according to your schedule. Try and get enough rest beforehand, but you're always keen to see what everyone else is doing. Anybody who says that they're not particularly aware and they're inside their own bubble in the training camp is perhaps not quite telling the truth, because you like to see how others are performing. The coaches are looking at other players, other tactics, formations, and seeing what fellow coaches are doing. So you as a player, you will certainly be doing that access as much as you can.
Just needs a bit of treatment here. Omar Kamal. Gideon Mensah, the Ghanaian left-back, plays in the second tier in France with Auxerre and has done pretty well so far in the first 27, 28 minutes of this game. That was a bit high, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's difficult to see if you actually made contact. It's only to do with the arm, Jordan Ayew.
So coming up on BBC Three, Wednesday on air 7:50, it's Group F, Zambia against Morocco, the World Cup semi-finalists from last year. And of course, every game you can see the goals and highlights on the BBC Sport website and app. Omar Kamal for Egypt. Nice little layoff from Mustafa Mohamed, but Omar Marmoush couldn't quite get onto it. And here's Dennis Adoy for Ghana. Salisu, now at Monaco, once to Southampton. Mensah, Salisu. Hasn't played a lot of football, Salisu, actually, in France. He's only played 3 games for Monaco this season. He'll be glad of a run of matches in a tournament coming thick and fast, though also it might be physically challenging when you're not used to playing week in, week out. Same maybe goes for El Neni, who's only played 4 times for Arsenal this season in the Egyptian squad.
Just getting through the first game will be key for them. There's not too many issues with cramp, and certainly if you can do that, then I think you very quickly feel fit, and certainly you'll be fresher than pretty much everyone else in the squad.
Now a chance to advance for Omar Marmoush, a chance which was snuffed out by a challenge which the referee, Pierre Acho from Gabon, didn't like very much.
Refusing to pull his cards out of his pocket, isn't he, so far? Mentioned that the one is coming pretty soon, and that's a blatant pullback. It's usually resulting in the yellow.
Yeah, he thinks he should have done.
That's what players need to do to get one of their players yellow carded.
Half an hour played then. Goalless so far in Abidjan. Group B. 2 big guns in Group B. Misfiring so far in the tournament, however. Salah.
On paper, arguably the biggest game in the opening group stages, along with Ivory Coast, Nigeria, who played a couple of hours ago. Certainly 2 of the matches I was absolutely looking forward to.
Yeah, coming in on the same day, in the same city. Marmoush with a decent little run. Mustafa Mohamed. Hamdi Fati exchanging a pass with Emam Ashur. Omar Kamal. It's a really poor ball.
Difficult that. Say a curl on it, but move into a central position to clip that one into a teammate. Very easy. I mean, looking at most of the nations so far, Steve, we've now seen everybody play at least one match. I do look at the strength of the midfield of the Senegalese, and really that stands them out from the rest of the sides. Of lots of good strikers on show, good wide play, some decent defenders. One of the clubs, but Senegal really have that command and authority in the middle of the park.
Semenya with the ball into the penalty area, headed away well by Mohamed Hamdi.
not a great amount of creativity, but in terms of fluency and ball wielding skills all over the field, and certainly in that middle of the park, they're able to. Water break.
Rui Vitória is calling his troops over.
And ultimately, you want to be able to dominate teams. It's going to be very hard to do it in these temperatures for long periods of matches, but those 5-10 minute spells, you really are on top and penning the opposition back. Most defences will crack if you have the likes of Ismail Assar and Sadio Mane, of course, in your flanks. Egypt, a superstar of their own, of course, in Salah, but so far, nothing for the goalkeepers to get worried about.
28 degrees, 80% humidity. That's pretty punishing. There he is, Andre Ayew, taking the acclaim of the Black Stars fans as he warms up. He is 34 now, playing in France with Le Havre. A veteran now of 8 AFCON tournaments, played in the World Cup of 2010 and 2014 and 2023. Scored against Portugal in Qatar and then missed a penalty against Uruguay.
Terrible penalty, I recall. He's missed a few over the years in AFCON as well. He's a checkered history from the penalty spot. Mo Salah's missed a few this season for Liverpool. Got one way, of course, in against Mozambique in the opening game.
In off the post, mind you.
Yeah, you will say that's exactly where you meant to send it.
Well, I'm not sure how cooled they feel, but the cooling break.
Dare I say, Steve, we've had no 0-0s, have we, in the tournament so far?
No, that's right. Remember the tournament back in Mali in 2002, where for about the first 10 days we had almost nothing but 0-0s. Half-time, you can see some of the goals scored yesterday and so far today in the tournament. There are quite a few of them. That's a foul. It was a clumsy late challenge by Denis Adoy on Omar Marmoush. He's a goal threat, Omar Marmoush. He's scored 12 for Eintracht Frankfurt this season.
That's a good return. He's actually moved pretty well from the middle of the park. It's most likely of the Egyptian players to create something. So nothing of Inaki Williams so far for Ghana.
No, he's been stuck away on the right-hand side, hasn't he, mostly? Played inside from Mohamed Hamdi. That is Williams in front of Mohamed Hamdi. It was Ashimeru who got a toe on the ball. There might be an opportunity here. Wasn't a great cross intended from Mustafa Mohamed. Kind of sliced away back to Ashur.
Wasn't great defending. Sorry, Steve. Great defending either from Denis Adoy. The easy pass. And the safest one was back to the goalkeeper to clear it. Turned back into trouble.
Into the last 10 minutes of the first half. Well, they say it's not how you start a tournament, it's how you end it. Sometimes it can be a slow burner for whoever ends up lifting the trophy at the end of the month. And Egypt and Ghana are certainly amongst the traditionally successful sides in this tournament, and Egypt, anyway, are amongst the favourites for this tournament. Ghana's recent form would suggest that they perhaps are not one of the sides you would immediately to pick out as possible winners, but they certainly have a talented squad.
Outsiders, and obviously your form coming into the tournament says a lot about how everybody is mentally lots of criticism directed at the coaching staff. Chris Hughton in particular, of course, he's the head man. Very often, you can thrive when there's some negativity, lack of expectation for one of the big nations. That was the case for Nigeria last time they won. Reduced expectation, of course, for Ivory Coast after the golden years of the Drogbas and the Tourés. Quite a few other top players.
This might be the first yellow card of the game. It is. It's waved at Ghana's Salis Abdul Samed. They do have 3 players on yellow cards in this tournament. He's not one of them, but he is now their 4th yellow of the Africa Cup of Nations.
It's a deliberate block, isn't he? He's not looking at the football, making no attempt to try and get the head of Omar Mamushi. Once again, is going most likely to cause trouble to this Ghanaian defence. And I think the referee just decided enough was enough in that 4 or 5 challenges. And it's time to take charge.
Salah with almost a congratulatory pat on